as well as fix the explosion sound. So the explosion sound, I haven't figured it out yet, but I don't know if it's the noise. There's a couple lines here. It says audio coming in. You have your fire sound over here and your hit sound. Oh, hit. That must be it. That's the hit sound. Oh no, that's me hitting them, I think. I have to do some research and stuff, so I don't know where the explosion sound is, if it's this noise function that's coming from off of my schematic there. So going to figure that out and figure out this explosion sound as well. Be right back. All right, I have it running there. So just have my little jumper here, coin up, and then we're going to start. And watch when the attackers come down here. So I'll die here. But watch that. See how they disappeared as they were flying through the other Galaxians? But the sound sounds pretty decent. Oh. So sick. But anyway, I have a probe, a little jumper here, just set up on 5 volts. One of the things it says you can do, and just to look at that real quick. To look at that, you can see the game is actually in a track mode right there. So what we can do is take this 5-volt probe, and this is based off of the Galaxian troubleshooting guide, and on pin 4 of 8R you can hear the background noise. This is to test the background noise. And you can do the same thing for 8R, 8S, and 8T. And you should hear it kind of changing like that. So that sounds good. Now for the explosion, it says to do the same thing, but go to 9L pin 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And I'm not getting anything. I'm not getting any noise. Then it says to come to the anode of D1. And I'm not getting anything there either. So it says to actually replace. I haven't tried that side. Okay. It says to actually replace the anode. The diode. If you're not getting a noise. But then it says to also use our video probe like I used in the previous video. I'll link to that real quick. But I got my video probe, which is set up. And it says to come to R40 and see if you get dancing green lines. And we're not really getting dancing lines, we're just getting solid lines. And I believe that is the same as pin 1. Yeah, this is pin 1 of this LM324 here. Whoops. And they're not dancing to me, so I'm thinking that could be this LM324 could be the problem for our explosion sound. So I have some LM324s here. I'll either socket it or I'll try to put this. Should I try to piggyback it? I don't know. I don't know if that's a good idea, but I'll try that. All right, what I did was fired up a working board real quick just to verify what I'm seeing and doing. So you can see that there. I have my Super Galaxians on. Turn the volume up, I think, a little bit. And we will take our 5-volt jumper, if I could grab it, and go to 9, or go to that diode right there. And that's what it should sound like on either side of the diode or on pin 7 of 9L. So that's working. And if I take my video probe right here and go to dang, I can't grab it. Basically this side of R40, or I could go to 17 pin 1. And it still doesn't look like dancing green lines to me. It looks exactly the same as the other one. So I'm thinking that the LM324 is actually okay, probably. I already socketed it actually, but I'll come back to that and show that in a second. So it's got to be something else, because I got to look at the schematic, because it only references let's see, this D1 9L. Maybe there's something wrong with 9L. I don't know. I have to look at the schematic. All right, I'm back at this thing. I always have to take breaks for work, but let's see here. I think I didn't show this, but I did end up socketing the LM324 and tried a different LM324. That wasn't the problem. I didn't think it was the problem. Anyway, but since it had been replaced, the other thing is this 7R, which is a 4066, I think. Am I right? Yeah. That has also been replaced. So it seems like somebody was working on this, trying to fix this problem that we're having with the no hit sound. And then I was checking this diode real quick, and I figured I'd just do this for you guys. This diode D1, or this capacitor, which is C21, which is a tantalum cap. Hopefully you can see. Let me zoom in just as much as I can. Like that. Okay, so I have, let's switch to diode and just do a measurement here real quick. It says over limit if I go from the anode side with the positive lead, and I measure okay there, 0.56, which is normal from the non-anode side to the whatever, like that. Okay, that was interesting, the over limit thing. So since I have another board, I figured I'd do the same thing on a different board. So typically you can't measure diodes in circuit all the time. Sometimes you can, sometimes you can't, but when you have a board to compare to, you might as well use it. So that's all right. I know it's kind of hard to see because I got this daughter board in here, but measuring D1 the same way, you get 0.55, if you can see that, which is fine, that direction. And then the positive lead to the anode side, we get 1.39. So we're definitely seeing something different, and I think that has to do potentially with this capacitor here. So what I did then, hopefully, let me see if I can do this on camera, on this front side of the board, is set up my DCR meter. Which is analyzes the capacitors. And shit, I guess I can't do it that way. Let me come right back. Alright, this is the working board, and this is the cap right here. I know you're not going to be able to really reference this, but we want to put that on our capacitor meter here. Let me zoom out just a little bit. So we're getting a reading, right? It's not great, but for 2.2 microfarads, it's probably in the yellow, so it's still okay. Now let's go to the non-working. And this is the non-working board. I'm not getting any reading at all with my DSR meter. So even though I'm touching the bottom side of the capacitor, it makes me think that capacitor is no good. So I'm going to go ahead and desolder that, and also desolder one leg of the diode, which is a switching diode. It's a 1N4148. So I'm going to desolder those and see if that's our problem. Okay, so I had replaced that little capacitor, and it didn't fix it, and I replaced the diode, and that didn't fix it. So I wanted to break out my working board and just do some measurements real quick. So what I did is I hooked up my logic probe, and I'm going to, you can see here, basically, if I look at the signal here, the hit signal comes in, R89 goes through the diode. If we touch the anode side of the diode, it should make the hit sound. And it comes into this 4066 at 7R pin 4, which is over here. 1, 2, 3, 4, and goes, which is low right now, and then goes out on pin 3. Can you see that? Yeah. Which is also low. And pin 5 is basically toggling with some noise. And if you trace that back, it ties into this resistor, says noise, comes up, and goes all the way over to, it's off this sheet here, but 2D pin 9, which is over here, and is a 74, 2D pin 9, and that's a 74 LS74. So anyway, what I was going to do is just document this real quick. We're going to come to pin 3, 1, 2, 3, and make our noise. Whoops. So you can see that it's integrating that that noise signal. Once it goes high, then it integrates with that noise signal and then goes away. So just want to document that real quick, and then let's fire up the non-working. Alright, so I have the board working. I have the board plugged in. You can see I still think this capacitor was bad, but I replaced D1 and this capacitor here. I think that was bad, but that still didn't solve my problem. And I'm actually going to start a game here real quick. Alright, I started a game real quick, and then just want to see, you can see that on this side, the non-banded side of D1, when I get hit, we want to see that toggle to high so that we know the hit signal is being generated. So we know that the hit signal is being generated to D1, which then should change this to high, which it is, and that high signal goes to, but it should go away. That high signal goes to pin 4 of 7R. 1, 2, 3, 4. So something, it has to be this chip, this 7R, I think, because it should, our timing, or our noise circuit seems to be working correctly on pin 5 of 7R, but this is just staying high, and it shouldn't. It should go away. And this is low, but now it just did go away, right? Now it's just open or floating or something, which it shouldn't be, which is kind of weird. Yeah, so strange. Why is that? And pin 3 is low right now, which it should be. Pin 3 should be low. Right there. Pin 3 is low. So maybe could be some of these capacitors or resistors here. We got our noise coming in. This toggles. When that toggles, this should do something. So maybe C22 or C23 is bad? I don't know. This resistor I checked, R35 I checked, and R36 I checked, and those two resistors check out okay. I don't know if I checked R37. Wacky. Very strange. 3 is low, and 4 is neither low nor high. But if I toggle it here, that should have given us a noise. I just touched the anode side. Now I have 4 is low, when 4 should actually be high. Whack, something's going on. I don't know, I have to figure it out. Alright, I went ahead and socketed 7R, and I couldn't find a 4066. I went into my spare boards. I didn't have any on hand. And just a real shout out to Bob Roberts. When I first got started, he had these spare boards, like if you wanted to learn how to solder or desolder stuff, and he sent me this board right here with some random stuff that I bought. But anyway, this is probably like the 3rd or 4th board that I've fixed with just this one random thing that Bob gave me, and it had a 4066 on there. So anyway, let's see here. If I go to D1 now, like that, you can hear our noise. So that issue was the 4066. I'm going to need to order some because this is obviously used probably, so I want to put a new one in there, but it is working now. So on to the attack RAM.